Hey everybody, 50 plus here. So today we are going to make some ribeyes. Now, of course, this packaging looks a little different, as you can see here. It came from a meat processor because this ribeye came off of one of my cows. This is a Charolais and an Angus mix. The marbling comes from Angus. They're really, really good with fat marbling. However, they're not very big comparison to regular cows. Okay, so we crossbreed Angus and Charolais because the Charolais will help it put on more weight and become a bigger cow. So today we're gonna completely process him into some dinner. So hang in there. Here we go. Look at the marbling in this ribeye. That is fantastic. There's two of them. Take a look at that. This is going to be absolutely fantastic. Let's get it going. All right, let's get these going. The first thing we're going to do is let's open this thing up. See, we got some salt and pepper here. Let's take a little. Just kind of rub that. This is fresh cracked pepper, by the way. This is not, as you can see the large peppercorns, and this is fresh cracked pepper. This is kosher salt, and it's not fine grain. It is coarse grain kosher salt. Sorry, I'm doing this with one hand. Okay. Now, not hard. Okay. I'm gonna do the other one the same way, and we're also gonna do the other side, but we're not gonna do the other side just yet. We'll do the other side when, well, you'll see. It's time for that. Okay. Now, it helps to have a cast iron skillet. If you don't, go out and get one. It's going to help you out. What I'm going to use is my cast iron plate right here. It's going to get really hot, and it's almost there. I'm going to let that get extremely hot, okay? Then I'm going to put a little olive oil on there, and then I'm going to lay the steaks on there so that they can sear before I take them outside, okay? Here we go. All right, guys, as you can see that smoke coming off of there, they are ready. So what I'm gonna do is just lay that on there. Once it gets on there, do not touch it. Do not touch it. Do not touch it. Okay? Let them stay on there. I'm now gonna put the pepper and salt on the other side. All right. They've been on here for about a minute. Let's just take a look. They're almost there. Let's take a look. See that? It's almost where we want. Let's look at the side. You start seeing that the brown on the sides like that. Take a good look at that one. See how it's browning a little bit at the bottom? Pick it up. They are ready. They're ready to flip. So I'm gonna go ahead and flip them, and I'll get right back with you. Okay, look at that. Look at that crust on there. Look at that crust. Those steaks are not done yet. They're gonna actually go on the pit outside, but you want that crust on those steaks like that. And this is how you get them done. This is how you put the crust on there. I mean, it's see that? That's what you want. All right, now you're looking at, they're not done, of course, but they are. Look at the crust on those steaks, okay? There's 4 ribeyes on here. Crust has been seared. Now, I know people are gonna say, well, you did it backwards. Well, you can do it whichever way you want. But I sear them and then I let them cool down. I'm gonna let them sit down here while the pit is getting ready. Once the coals are ready and I got the flavors of the heat the way I want it, then I'll put these on the pit, okay? But that'll only be after they come back down the temperature a little bit. I mean, as you see, I can touch them. They've been sitting here for about 5 minutes, but they'll sit for about 15 to 20 minutes, and then I'll put them on the pit. We'll take a look at it in just a minute. Okay, guys, they're resting, and now, as you can see, that thing looks like it's got a lot of seasoning on it, doesn't it? It's because I put a little Montreal seasoning on, and I said little. I do it pretty good. Now, keep in mind, when I put these on the pit, a lot of that's gonna fall off because that's a crust on that. I'm trying to make those seasonings sit on top of a crust, so about half of that is gonna come off just laying it on the pit. And they'll be on the pit for about a total of about 10 minutes, 5 on one side and 5 on the other side. And then they'll be medium rare, which is, if you eat a steak and the temperature is any higher than medium rare, shame on you. Shame, 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 shame on you. Okay, let's say you bought a jar of hot sauce, okay? Right off the grocery store shelf, okay? And you open it up and, it's not like it's vacuum sealed, like any pressure inside of there or vacuum pressure inside of there. It's not like, if you leave it on the countertop, it's going to go bad, No, and it's because the pH balance in it is so low, there's no chance of bacteria building up in it because it's got so much vinegar in it, and the vinegar has the acid level in the vinegar is so high that bacteria cannot survive in that. It doesn't work that way, right? But when you use fresh peppers, habaneros, or Trinidad scorpions, or ghost chilies, any of those, you're not trying to cover up the flavor of those peppers with vinegar. And so the way you keep them from getting you sick is you have to ferment them. It takes about 3 weeks. And so next week I'm gonna go get a bunch of habaneros, and I got some Trinidad scorpions. I have some an array of them. So we're gonna make some barbecue, some hot sauce here in the next few weeks. Anyways, let's talk about the steaks now. Of course, in my video, I didn't. I'm doing it by myself, so I'm having to take it step by step and show you guys step by step. So, I can understand that you might miss a step or two. The main thing that you're gonna hear me say, you're gonna see me say it on every one of my videos. Don't be afraid. It's just nothing to it. It may look like I'm skipping stuff, but it's so basic, okay? What I do want to talk to you guys about is I'm going to sit my lazy back down for a minute. Okay, so what I do want to talk to you guys about is the searing of those steaks, okay? I laid those steaks down on that hot plate, and it took about maybe a minute, and then you flip it over. It should take about another minute, okay? And what you're gonna look for is to be able to get a fork underneath it. You saw me get a fork underneath it, and then kind of pick up a little bit, and the seasonings wasn't stuck to the hot plate. Okay, that's because I let it stay on there long enough for it to sear. So, and you don't mash, never mash a steak. I don't care if it's on the pit or wherever, never mash it. Okay, it's like a hamburger. If you're cooking a burger on a pit, never mash it. Okay, why? What's the purpose of that? Other than to push all the juices out of it. No, don't do that. Okay, and do not cook a steak. I know, to each their own. I mean, if you want to eat a charcoal briquette, go ahead and cook it, well done. But you really shouldn't cook a steak that way. Okay, if you cook it that way, you would have rendered a lot of the fat out, and that's where the flavor is. Okay, so a medium rare is about the temperature you want it. Okay, I'm gonna use my thermopen, and then I'm gonna probe the meat, and when we get to the temperature that is a medium rare, we're gonna take it off. Okay, and now here's the trick: cooking it just slightly taking it off just before it hits medium rare is what you want to do. Whatever temperature you choose, you want to take it off the heat just before it hits there, because it's not going to stop cooking when you take it off. Okay, you take it off, and then and do not put it on a plate. Okay, take it off and put it on a butcher block. Anything that is room temperature, you can put on a plate if you want, as long as the plate is warm. Don't put it on a cold plate, because it's gonna start to cool the steak and in the cooking process, unless that's what you want to do. Okay, I like it for it to come down to temperature naturally, and that way I don't jack with any of the juices inside. Okay. I want them there. That's where the flavor is. Okay, you should want them there. That's where the flavor is. Okay, so use a wood butcher block if you can. If not, just run a plate, whatever plate you're gonna use. Just run it under warm water, and I'd let it run for a good 3-4 minutes, and make sure that plate is not cool. Okay, make sure it's warm, and then lay the steak on there, and the steak will then start to cool down and come down to, at a better rate. Okay. Otherwise, if you're gonna go off the pit and straight to a plate to eat right away, you can go ahead and let it stay on the pit until it reaches its temperature that you want it to be, and then take it off, put it on a plate, and go after it. Godspeed. But if it's if you got other things to do, like fix the potato or salad or whatever else you got going on with the meal, you won't be eating it right away. It's going to sit down on your plate, and it's going to cool down while you're getting the rest of that done, and it's going to be cooking throughout the whole process. Okay, so don't be intimidated. In cooking steaks, man. I mean, caveman did it. This is nothing. This is super simple. So what I got outside right now is coals getting hot, and once the coals reach the right temperature, I'm gonna throw a couple pieces of wood on there. Then I'm gonna throw the steaks on, and then you guys will watch that happen. Okay, pretty simple. I mean, this is just 101 stuff. You can do this all day long. Here we go. All right, look at that. Look at those beautiful white coals. Guys, if you don't have one of these chimneys, you don't know what you're missing out on. We're gonna go ahead and dump those out. That's really cool right there. Okay, I'm gonna put some chunks of wood on there, put my grill on, and then I'm gonna go ahead and get my meat, get out here, get ready to put on the pit. Okay, so again, I'm gonna put a piece of wood on here so I can get a little bit of that smoke flavor and bring my steaks out. Here we go. All right, see my grill's on, see my little piece of pecan in there. All right, so let's go get our steaks, put them on, and let's see what we can do. Now, I also like for my grill grate to get hot also. Okay, so we're gonna kind of let it sit there and let it get hot while I bring the steaks out. All right, guys. My steaks are on there, and they're looking good. And I'm going to explain something to you. This part here, that's where the fat part is, and I put the fat part over that flame. See how the flames are coming up over that fat, and I want to do that because it's going to crisp up that fat. Ooh, man, that is just awesome. I freaking love it. Okay, a little bit coming under that one right there. But when I think that fat's got a little crisp on it, see that little piece right there? when it starts getting, looks like it's kind of getting a little crunchy. See how it's starting to get there? When that little piece get kind of crunchy, then I'll close the lid. But when I do that, the fire will subside some, and then I can finish grilling them. And that, what I'm basically doing right now is getting them to have that wonderful pit char flavor. As you can see, they already look like they're done, right? They're not. See how undone it is in the middle there? So they need to be on here for a little bit. Remember, they got back to room temperature. So we're gonna let them keep going, and that fat's gonna get all crusted. Look at that. See how it's not done yet? But it looks like it on the outside. Oh man, that crust is gonna be, I mean, absolutely fantastic. And now, you can kind of see the extra seasonings I put over the top, but they're just right on the top, see? See how they just move around real easy? So when I flip it, you know, some of that's gonna fall off. So it won't have all that much seasonings on it, okay? But look, it's getting darker. Flame's getting bigger down there. In just a little bit, I'm gonna close the lid on it. See, there's right here, it's a big hunk of fat right there. That's good stuff, but I want it to crush up. I want it to get all crusty. That's gonna be good. And leaving it open like this is gonna do that. So I'm gonna close it for about 10 minutes. Then I'm gonna flip it and leave it open for a while so the flame can jump back up and crust up the fat on either side there. Then I'm gonna close it for like another 10 minutes, and then the steaks will be done. One to come off, and then we're done out here. Look at that. Look at that fat cap. That is a beautiful piece of meat. Okay, let's make the broth or the sauce for this. 3 cups of beef broth, okay? Two. 3. And since I followed the recipe, that's how we roll. 3 cups. Let's get a fire under it on high. A couple tablespoons of onions chopped, and a 1/4 cup of fresh ground black pepper. That in there, because we follow the recipe, right? Okay. We're gonna let that get going, and because we use beef broth, we're gonna put a stock in there. And these stocks can come in cubes or in these little packages. So we're gonna put 1 in there to just help it get a little thick. Give it a little bit, you know, good beef taste to it. There you go, see? Oh no, Mr. Bill. All right, let's let that get hot. All right, so now this is my beef broth. It's boiling pretty good. And do it until the onions start. See how it's starting to get translucent? That's all we need. We're not going to use those onions anyways. We're gonna strain those off. Okay. Meanwhile, in this pan, this was the leftover juices from the meat when it was resting. Okay. So, hold on 1 second. I'm getting ahead of myself here. All right, so Now what we're gonna do is put a little bit of good stuff in there. That's it. And then we're gonna let that cook. We're gonna let this get hot again. You don't have to use Jack Daniels. You really bourbon or cognac also. All right, sorry about that interruption there. Okay, so let's let that cook and let that Jack Daniels keep the deglaze the bottom of your pan. Okay. And it really needs to get after it because you really don't, you're going to cook the alcohol off. You're not trying to get drunk off your sauce. You know, you just want that flavor and you're going to be able to smell it. Trust me. It smells fantastic. Just this part right here. Okay. And the next thing we're going to do is some heavy whipping cream. But we want that to cook down a little bit first. We're gonna let that reduce a little bit, just a little bit. So it should only take about 5 minutes, okay? You don't need to watch me do this for 5 minutes. But then you're gonna pour about half a cup of whipping cream in there and then mix it up. Then we're gonna start feeding in the broth, okay? So let's let a little bit of time expire. Then I'm gonna add the whipping cream and come back to you. Keep it moving for right now. And just let it even out. And twice as much whipping cream is what we're going to add for the beef broth. But this needs to get actually boiling first, okay? So we're gonna let that get going, let it boil, and then we're gonna put it in here with the beef broth. Now, depending on what you like as far as consistency of broth, that would indicate how much the beef broth you're gonna put in, okay? And then you're gonna continue to taste this sauce as you're making it, okay? Because you want it to be at your palate. It's real easy. Just not something that you can, it's probably going to come across well for you, but that light brown creamy color is what you're looking for. But now you know, it's, well, mine is starting to reduce a little bit, okay, but that is not quite what we're looking for. It needs to be creamier, but don't add any more cream to it. You need to reduce it. You need to cook it down. Okay. Now look, see that? My onions are translucent, and I'm not putting the onions in my sauce. I just wanted the flavor. Okay. We're gonna keep cooking this until it reduces it to a thicker cream. Okay. Once it's done, then just taste it. Okay. I didn't put any salt and pepper or anything on it because once we deglazed your skillet from whenever you pan seared your steaks, that seasoning went inside of this. Okay, that's what was in there at first. So you're gonna have seasoning there, and you also gonna have seasoning on the steak. So we don't want to over season everything. It just takes away from the flavor of the meat. See how it's starting to foam up a little bit like that? That means it's starting to reduce. That's what we're looking for. So this might take 10 minutes or so. So I'm gonna let this reduce. And that's actually, while it's reducing, it's also burning off some of that alcohol. Okay, which is what we want. We don't need to get drunk off of it. We just want the flavor. So let me reduce it, then I'll get back with you. Now, look, it's a lot more creamy. It's reduced quite a bit now. A little bit of whole peppercorn. Oh, mine is kind of cracky, but you need to put those in there. Okay. And those whole peppercorns is really what makes it in this sauce, but the whole peppercorns is what set off steak au poivre. Okay, it's a French dish, but it's ribeye steak and beef stock sauce. It's what it is. But if you make the sauce right, it's really, really, really tasty. But now, as you can see, it's reduced down really good. And then we just pour that on top of the steak. Now, just before we're done, you're gonna get approximately 2 tablespoons of butter to put in there, and that's gonna make it a lot more creamy. And then you're done. So I'm gonna do that. And then once my butter is right like I've needed in the sauce, I'm gonna go ahead and on the plate my ribeye, and I'm gonna pour the sauce on that. You guys take a look.